Shabbat Shalom, everybody. This is Rabbi Jamie Gibson at Temple Sinai, and we are delighted to have a shared service tonight. Cantor Berman and I are really honored to have Rabbi Bisno, Rabbi Henry, Molly May, and Don all together. It is a time for us to come together. It has been a challenging, shattering week in the lives of Americans, and the effects of that have been felt all over the world. So we need Shabbat. We need not to make ourselves unconscious this Shabbat. We need to be so aware of what's going on around us. And maybe that'll make our prayers and singing more intense tonight I'll ask all of my colleagues to share a brief welcome for this Shabbat.
Shabbat Shalom. I'm Rabbi Sharon Henry. I'm delighted to be here. A little bit sad that it's our last time I'll be co-leading a service with Rabbi Gibson, but happy to be with all of you.
Shabbat Shalom, Rabbi Bisno. I'm also delighted to be part of this service this evening, and I'm really very grateful for the opportunities we have to gather together and strengthen each other, reassure one another, and hold each other up.
Shabbat Shalom, I'm Molly May. I'm delighted to be leading services with my colleagues, and particularly my colleagues from Temple Sinai. It's been a really, it's been really something over the past several weeks, and we really need some Shabbat right now.
Enter Laura Berman, and I too am delighted to be here with my colleagues and with all of you who are with us tonight. We need one another. We will connect. Whether or not we can hear each other, we will feel each other's spirit.
So we're starting with two songs tonight. The first is an old version by Debbie Friedman of the famous poem Sachki Sachki, Laugh at All My Dreams. And then it'll be followed by the prayer from the Psalms that we can live together in unity. Here's Debbie's song. Laugh at all my dreams, my dearest. Laugh and I repeat anew that I still believe in people as I still believe in you. By the passion of our spirit shall our ancient bonds be shed. Let the soul be given freedom. Let the body have its bread. For my soul is not yet sold to the golden calf of scorn. For I still believe in people and the spirit in them born. Life and love and strength and action in our hearts and blood shall be, and our hope shall be both heaven and the earth beneath our feet. Laugh at all my dreams, my dearest. Laugh and I repeat anew that I still believe in people, as I still believe in you.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I'm Don McGahan. And if you would join me in Hini Matov, the two melodies that I'm pretty sure you know very well. Hine Matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov u'manayim, 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 shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov, yadada, yadada, yadada. Hine Matov, yadada, yadada, yadada. Hine Matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad.
Grab your candles, whichever candles you've got with you, and we're going to say the blessing together. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Okay. So gather together whoever you might have near you, whether they're children, whether they're adults, and if they're not with you, think of them, send them your blessing, and send the whole world this blessing. Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichunecha, יישא אדוני פניו אליך וישם לך שלום. Everyone, shalom, shalom, ישם לך שלום, שלום, וישם לך שלום, 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 ישם לך שלום, שלום, וישם לך שלום, שלום, וישם לך שלום. And then if you have a Kiddush cup with you, you can take it regardless. Please join. And heaven and the earth were finished in all their array. On the seventh day, God finished the work that God has been doing, and God ceased on the seventh day from all the work that God had done. And God blessed the seventh day and declared it holy, because on it God ceased from all the work of creation that God had done. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri agafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, b'shabbat kodsho b'ahava u'b'ratzon hinchilanu, zikaron l'maaseh v'reshit. Ki hu yom techila l'mikra'e kodesh, zecher l'yetziat Mitzrayim. Ki banu bacharta, ve'otanu kidashta, mikol ha'amim, b'shabbat kodshecha, be'ahava u'b'ratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. L'chaim.
Shiru Adonai, kol haaretz. Shiru Adonai, shir hadash. Shiru Adonai, kol haaretz. Shiru Adonai, shir hadash. Sing unto God all the earth a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God and we'll all sing along. All the earth a new song unto God. Shiru Adonai, kol haaretz. Shiru Adonai, shir hadash. I will sing unto God a new song.
Join together to welcome the bride of Shabbat with all the hope that it brings. Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. 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 Shamor v'zachor v'dibur echad, ishmianu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad, u'shemo echad, l'shemo tiferet l'tila. Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם נסוכה, תוך מסע במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, הנה שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, הנה שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, כי בעורק ומאורי, אורי שדברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, הנה שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, הנה שבת נקבלה. And it's customary to stand and turn towards the entrance and welcome in that bride of Shabbat. Oh, Shalom, Ateret Bala, come Besimcha uBetzohala, Tokamunei Am Segula, Boi Chala, Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala, Hine Shabbat Nekabela, Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala, Hine Shabbat Nekabela. Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala, Hine Shabbat Nekabela. Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala, Hine Shabbat Nekabela.
The Psalm for Shabbat, Psalm 92. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשבחה עליון. 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 להגיד בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות. 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 טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון. טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון.
This part of our service, the Kabbalat Shabbat welcoming, is going to end with a Shalom Aleichem. This was the last melody written by Debbie Friedman. And the haunting tone is that we want the angels to come into our midst. We want them to stay there. In the last verse, there's a change in words. Instead of that the angels will go out, we ask them if they return. It goes like this. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Boachem Leshalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Hasharet, Malachi Elyon, Mi Melech, Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni leshalom, Malchei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei HaMelachim. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shuvchem leshalom, Malchei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
It's customary to rise for the Chatzi Kaddish in anticipation of the beginning of our Mariv service. Yitgadal v'yitgadash Shemei Rabba, v'lamad yivrach yirtei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yamechon v'chayir chol Beit Yisrael. Bagala, bagala, ubizman karivim eru, amen. Yehi Shemei Rabba meforach, leolam le'alme'al haya yiparach. Yiparach, v'shabach, v'bar, v'yitromam, v'yitaseh, v'yitadar, v'yitaleh, v'yitalal, Shemei dekudesha, rechu le'ela mikol b'chata v'shirata. Gush bechata v'nechemata damiran bi'alma v'imeru. Amen. And we face towards the east for the Baruch. Ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la la ya la 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 ya la. Ya la la ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la la ya la la la. Baruch Hu et Adonai Amevorach.
Baruch Adonai Barach leolam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Amevorach leolam va'ed. We invite you to have a seat.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim b'chochma poteach she'arim v'tvuna mashana itim machalif et hazmanim u'misader et hakochavim b'mishrotehem barakia kirtzono borei yom v'layla. Bless Adonai, who spins day into dusk. With wisdom, watch the dawn gates open. With understanding, let time and seasons come and go. With awe, perceive the stars in lawful orbit. Morning dawns, evening darkens, darkness and light yielding one to the other, yet each distinguished and unique. Marvel at life, strive to know its ways, seek wisdom and truth, the gateways to life's mysteries. Wondrous indeed is the evening twilight. Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv aravim.
Ahavat olam Beit Yisrael Amcha Avta Amcha Avta Torah u'mitzvot Hukim u'mishpatim Otanu limadeta Otanu limadeta Al ken Adonai Eloheinu b'shachbeinu Uv'kameinu nasiach b'chukecha V'nismach midivrei Toratecha U'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed Ki hem chayenu V'yorech yameinu Uvahem nege yomam balayla, nege yomam balayla. Ve'avatcha al tasir, mimenu le'olamim. Baruch ata Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael, ohev amo Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto, Olam Va'ed. We continue with the Ahavta. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, V'chol levavecha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha u'v'lechtecha b'derech ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
When justice burns within us like a flaming fire, when love evokes willing sacrifice from us, when to the last full measure of selfless devotion, we demonstrate our belief in the ultimate triumph of truth and righteousness, then your goodness enters our lives and we can begin to change the world. And then you live in our hearts and we, through righteousness, behold your presence. Adonai Elohechem Emet. Adonai, your God is true. In the Talmud, Rabbi Akiva says the single most important mitzvah is ve'avta l'recha kamocha, love your neighbor as yourself, and it's a parallel to loving God. How do we love God? We learn to love each other. We learn to care for each other. This week has been so shattering that Rabbi Henry and I attended a very special session for rabbis and cantors to hear about the challenge and the plight and the pain of African Americans, but not just any in our neighborhood, but those who are Jews, who struggle even in Jewish contexts and synagogues to have their voices heard, to be validated, to be accepted for who they are, vital, essential members not just of the human family, but of the Jewish community. So for 6 minutes, we're going to hear their voices and listen to them. I hope we listen well.
I am a person of color. I wonder why this world is so cruel. I hear a symphony of racial ethnic harmony. I see every human on this planet as an equal. I want to make all of this pain go away. I am a Jew of color. I pretend to be understood and accepted by my entire Jewish community. Feel conflicted, hurt, and exhausted. I touch a future where my Black life matters. I worry every day about my son, my nephews, and my brothers. I cry tears of trauma, neglect, and fear. I am a mother, daughter, sister, and friend. I understand I need to meet you where you are in your journey. I say, when is this going to end? I dream about a day when all systems of racism, hatred, and bigotry are dismantled. I try to make a difference in my world every day that there is breath in my body. I hope you will join me because people of color, Jews of color, cannot do it alone. I am a human being. I am a human being coming to you tonight with a call to action. And that call to action is asking you to think about your role in the system of white supremacy, holding the mirror up and saying, what can I do to dismantle this? Understanding that there has to be internal and external work. People of color, Jews of color, are hurting. We're dying in the streets. We're dying in our own homes, and we are afraid. We are exhausted. Please take this time to think about what you can do, what this looks like 3 weeks later, 3 years later. The time is now.
Right now, I need my beloved Jewish community to know that Black Jews and Jews of color are in mourning. We're mourning George Floyd, Tony McDade, Breonna Taylor, and Ahmaud Arbery. We're also mourning so many other Black lives that have been taken from this earth far too early because of brutal systemic racism. I need my Jewish community to know that right now, in this moment, is the time to build the world as it should be, to bring forth our Torah, which says that every individual is created in the image of God, and that we should always be pursuing justice, that right now is the moment to bring forth that Torah, and that we must do it all together. So let us mourn all together. Let us support Black-led organizations. Let us change policies in our communities. And let's each and every day be working to not only be not racist, but to be anti-racist. With the hope of love and justice for all of us, let us move forward together.
As a Black Jewish woman and mother of 2 Black Jewish daughters, I want our community to take a moment to pause and to remember that police brutality and the lynching of Black people is common in our country and has been for centuries. Protests and uprisings to stop violence against Black and brown bodies are not new. Now wonder with me, why is there still a need for protest? Why are there gross inequities in almost every aspect of the Black experience when compared to the white experience in this country? The answer is racism. Now, ask yourself why the protest, the laws, the anger have not yet been sufficient to erase those inequities. Now ask yourself, am I anti-racist? Am I pro-Black, pro-immigrant, pro-reparations? Have I risked friendships, emotional comfort, physical comfort, and financial comforts to be anti-racist and pro-Black? Have I taken the time to understand how racism lives in me and in our Jewish community? Now, I am asking you, from this moment on, what will you risk to be anti-racist and pro-Black? I am asking you to be uncomfortable and persist in this hard work until we have finished building a society where no social outcome can be predicted by race. Will you join me to the end?
Rabbi Henry, unmute, please.
Some of us have heard the midrash about how the water didn't split when we were about to cross the sea, leaving Egypt, leaving our slavery and moving towards freedom. The water didn't start to part until one of us jumped in. And the tradition tells us that that person's name was Nachshon ben Aminadav. And so Nachshon was the one who jumped in. And because he jumped in, because he took a chance, because he was willing to be uncomfortable, as we just heard, he was willing to take a risk, as we just heard, is he willing to go forth? Because he did that, the water split and we were all able to pass through to our freedom and our redemption. Yesterday in that call, one of the things that was really compelling that Rabbi Gibson and I heard was this idea that what can we do? We need to follow closely behind and support and maintain, support our Black leaders. We just heard from 3 of them. And so our call tonight, as we listen to and sing Mi Chamocha, is to think about jumping into that water, taking those steps, being a little bit uncomfortable, maybe facing some hard truths about ourselves, following closely behind and supporting our Black leaders. And that way we can bring about redemption. Mi Chamocha.
Baruch atah Adonai, God Yisrael.
Baruch atah Adonai aporei sukkot shalom aleinu v'al kol amo Yisrael v'al Yerushalayim.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. At this point in our service, we prepare for the Amidah. Again, we face towards the east traditionally, if you can. And we'll begin together. Adonai, tefatai tifta, ufi yagid, tehilatecha. Adonai, tefatai tifta, ufi yagid, tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rakav, Elohei Leah, האל הגדול הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומר חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיה כל אתריו להושיע, מוריד הטל, מקלקל חיים בחסד, מחיה הכל ברחמים רבים, צומק נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומדום מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצליח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיה הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Disturb us, Adonai. Ruffle us from our complacency. Make us dissatisfied with the peace of ignorance, the quietude which arises from a shunning of the horror, the defeat, the bitterness, and the poverty, physical and spiritual, of humans. Shock us, Adonai. Deny to us the false Shabbat, which gives us a delusion of satisfaction amid a world of war and hatred. Wake us, O God, and shake us from the sweet and sad poignancies rendered by half-forgotten melodies and rubric prayers of yesteryears. Make us know that the border of the sanctuary is not the border of living. The walls of your temples are not shelters for the winds of truth, justice, and reality. Disturb us, O God, and vex us. Let not your Shabbat day be a day of torpor and slumber. Let it be a time to be stirred and spurred to action. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. We cannot merely pray to you, O God, to end war, for we know that you have made the world in a way so that all of us must find our own path to peace within ourselves and with our neighbors. We cannot merely pray to you, O God, to end starvation, for you have already given us the resources with which to feed the entire world if we would only use them wisely. We cannot merely pray to you, O God, to root out our prejudice, for you have already given us eyes with which to see the good in all people if we would only use them rightly. We cannot merely pray to you, O God, to end despair, for you have already given us the power to clear away slums and to give hope if we would only use our power justly. We cannot merely pray to you, O God, to end disease, for you have already given us great minds with which to search out cures and healing if we could only use them constructively. Therefore, we pray to you instead, O God, for strength, determination, and courage to do instead of just pray, to become instead of merely to wish. Baruch atah Adonai, shodcha levadcha, yirah na'avod.
Join together in prayer of thanksgiving. Modim, 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 אנחנו לך. modim, 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 אנחנו לך. modim, אנחנו לך. modim, אנחנו לך. modim, אנחנו לך. modim, אנחנו. I will give thanks for the sunshine. I will give thanks for the rain. I will give thanks for the good times and pray they come again. Modim אנחנו לך, modim אנחנו לך, modim אנחנו לך, modim אנחנו. I will give thanks for my life. I will give thanks for your love. I will give thanks for your goodness. You know I never get enough. Modim אנחנו לך, modim אנחנו לך, modim אנחנו לך, modim אנחנו לך. Baruch atah Adonai hatov shimcha ulecha na'eh lahodot.
And finally, we end the Amidah with our hope for peace. It is not coming in our day, but we will work for it so it comes about maybe in the time of our children or their children. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasihim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasihim Leolam. Shalom, ki atahu melech adon, lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasihim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasihim Leolam. V'tov be'einecha levarech את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. ברוך אתה אדוני המברך את עמו ישראל בשלום. Blessed are you, Adonai, who blesses your people Israel with peace. So many of the words that you've heard tonight that were just said this week or written in the Bible or by our rabbis are other people's words. Please take this moment, look at this dove, and what does it inspire in you to do something to create a little bit more peace after Shabbat next week than there was last? We pray silently.
Come now to Misha Berach. Time for us to focus on the members of our community, our family, our friends, those we know, those we don't know, who are on this Shabbat in need of healing, healing of body, healing of spirit. Think of those who have been adversely affected by this pandemic, the virus, the pandemic of racism, those who are suffering from anxiety and addiction, who are lonely, who have lost, those who feel isolated, those who are afraid, those who are grief-stricken. I'm going to share the names from our Road of Shalom list and then invite you to put names in the chat. I'm going to try to read those names after we sing together the first paragraph of Misha Berach. So please invite you to put names in as I'm reading this list and as we sing together the first paragraph. Shabbat we hold in our hearts Nancy Berkowitz, Millard Balloon, Richard Breen, Garrett Goldhammer, Naum Kaplan, Lee Kramer, Lev Podorovsky, Maria Pukchansky, Charlie Tucker, Zev Ben Simcha, and Alan Wolk, Elchanan Ben Chaya.
Makor habracha ve'imotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Now we realize that most of you do not have access to the Zoom chat, but there is the chat on the live stream, and you should let our community know for whom you are praying for healing. Healing of body, healing of spirit, healing of mind. You should say those names out loud, because when you say them out loud, they're more real than if they just live in your mind.
Happy Bat Milka.
Mi sheberach imotenu mikor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Thank you. I want to take a moment to share some thoughts with you about the Torah portion. There's actually a question as to what the correct Torah portion is this week. For many in the Jewish world, we moved on after Shavuot last Shabbat and began reading from the portion of Naso, which would put us at the portion of Bahalotcha this week. Others took an extra day and read again, as we did at Rodav Shalom, the 10 Commandments on Shabbat, second day of Shavuot. And so we are now at Naso, and we will catch up with everyone else in a few weeks' time. So there's a split decision as to whether or not this week's Torah portion is Naso or Bahalotcha. I want to lift up something from the portion of Naso. If you're familiar with this Torah portion at all, it's likely that you are familiar with the priestly benediction, which we shared early in our service, the threefold benediction which the priests would offer in the ancient temple in Jerusalem. The blessing is familiar. Yivarech Adonai v'yishmerecha, Ye'er Adonai panav elecha v'yuchuneka, Yisar Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. And very often it is translated as something akin to, may the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord shine his face upon you and be gracious unto you. May God turn to you with favor and bless you in every way with peace. And there's much that we might say about this threefold benediction. We might speak of its meter or its ascending number of words, consonants, and stressed syllables, which for the record are 3, 5, and 7, 15, 20, and 25, 12, 14, and 16, respectively. We could take time to discuss at length what these blessings, what these promises of providence imply and include. But tonight, I want to invite you to look with me, not at what the ancient priests in Jerusalem would say. I want you rather to be curious with me about how the priests offered their benediction. As my mother used to say when I would speak with a degree of snark in my voice, or when it's too critical or was dismissive or betrayed disinterest, she would say to me, Aaron, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And so is it the case with the priest's blessing this evening. I'm speaking in the name of tradition, speaking in the name of God. These priests offered their words, but they delivered them in a distinctly instructive and significant way. First, they delivered their blessing while facing the people. Much is done facing the ark or with our attention focused on Torah, and perhaps our back is to the people that we are addressing. But with the priestly benediction, tradition teaches us the priest would face the people. And the blessing captured in Naso, in this week's Torah portion, the priest turned to face the people and looking them in the eye, spoke the words they offered. And we are taught that words that emanate from the heart go to the heart. Devarim hayotzim min halev nichnasim el halev. Words that emanate from the heart go into the heart. And so it was in then, and so it is for us now. And then, facing the people, the ancient priests in Israel would extend their arms wide with their hands open in the position of wide and accepting embrace and welcome, their arms accepting those who would come, all who sought to draw close to the community, and their hands open and yet full at the same time, open to receive and to accept all comers, all who would choose to draw close to Torah and listen and learn. And their hands were full of responsibility, full of purpose and promise. And then the words the ancient priests would offer, as beautifully and as poetically rendered as they were. Significantly, the words the ancient priests spoke were delivered in the second person singular, which is to say, they addressed all they had to say to you. Each person was the object of the address. The priests, when delivering their benediction, so well loved and so long cherished, this priest spoke to each and every person directly. To you I speak, they were saying, as if he or she or they were the only one present. If you will allow me a personal privilege, but no hyperbole, I want to suggest that this is the type of leadership, frankly, that Rabbi Jamie Gibson has given and has shared so generously with this community, of course, with Temple Sinai in particular, with your family of families, which Jamie and with wife Barbara have together led and tended to so genuinely and so generously these last 32 years. 32 in Hebrew is spelled lev, lamed vet. And if you know lev, you know it means heart. And the value is 32. For lamed is worth 30 and vet is worth 2. And were we to have another opportunity to share a service together with Temple Sinai under Rabbi Gibson's leadership, it would be on Simchat Torah, when we would conclude the reading of the book of Deuteronomy. The last word of the Torah is Yisrael and concludes with a lamed, and then we turn immediately to the first word of Genesis, Bereshit, which begins with a bet. And we have lev in that way. Yisrael becomes Bereshit. Lev is at the heart, 32 is at the heart of our turning, of our exercise, of our reading. Lamed vet completes the Torah. The final word in Deuteronomy and the first word of Genesis together to combine to give us the very heart and center of our experience. And so I thank you, Jamie, from my heart. Thank you for your 32 years of leadership, the last 16 of which we shared together, partners, sometimes challenging, always rewarding. For your friendship and collegiality, I am the better. For our interactions and our work together, our community is the stronger. And for all we can look forward to sharing and savoring with you and with Barbara in days to come in your retirement, we thank you in advance. Jamie, for your leadership and for your guidance and for the way all Pittsburgh, Jewish and interfaith communities are the stronger. Indeed, this is the type of leadership of which our Torah speaks in this week's Torah portion. I suggest it is this type of leadership which our nation craves and needs so badly at this time in our history. We all desire to feel seen and known and understood, that our leaders see us and hear us and understand us, welcome us and accept us, and embrace us as Rabbi Gibson has in this community for 32 years. And every one of us deserves to feel that those we look to for encouragement and for guidance, for reassurance and for strength, to feel that they are facing what we are facing, that we are recognized for our efforts and our best intentions, and that those who are blessed with positions of responsibility and authority are ever mindful of the trust they hold. Jamie, you have been a stalwart role model for all of us, and we hope to continue to be able to live out your example. And so as we appreciate and celebrate and express our gratitude to you this night, and as we begin to face the future and begin to move into the days ahead, as we stare down this pandemic and as we address ourselves to racism, As we find ourselves in these moments physically estranged from one another, and yet bound together in ways inexplicable and enduring, we hope that we might be led by the priestly example that is offered to us in this week's Torah portion, and by the example that you have offered us. Let us face one another even as we face and greet the future. Let us reach out and continue to embrace and welcome and accept one another. And let us lovingly speak words from our hearts to one another's hearts, that we might continue to be the one who encourages, sustains, and strengthens the other. The priestly benediction contained in this week's Torah portion, Naso, is one of Judaism's most time-honored liturgical texts, but not, I suggest, because of its poetic power or even of its theurgic resonance. Rather, the priestly benediction is so well loved for its ability to remind us of our own abilities to be blessings and to bring blessings into reality for one another. And so let us take encouragement from the example set by our teachers and our rabbis, and let us each be the change. Let us be the blessings we wish to see in the world. Shabbat Shalom. Many thanks. Rabbi Henry.
So some of you know, but maybe not everybody knows, that Rabbi Gibson and I have a special friendship. We have known each other for 30 years, because I've been here just about 30 years and you were here 32 years. So we've known each other from most of the time that you've been here and all the time that I've been here. We began as cordial colleagues. We knew each other's names. We became colleagues, became friends, and we became a chavruta, which was the, oh, Molly says she's known him longer, but it's not a contest. No, it's not a contest. We became chavruta, which has the root of chaver, friend, in our IJS experience, our Institute for Jewish Spirituality experience that we shared for 18 months together in retreats and in study together. And we became chavruta, became partners, friends, teachers, one to the other, although you really taught me a lot more than I taught you. Our teacher, Rabbi Sheila Peltz-Weinberg, taught us a very, very simple translation and practice for the priestly blessing. I loved it because it was so simple and clear. And those words for her, of hers, were, may you feel safe, may you feel happy, and may you feel at ease. We're supposed to say those words to people that we care about, and then maybe a little bit further out, people that we don't know very well. And the idea is that we become more expansive in our blessing of other people. These are words that we use to quiet our heart, our defenses, to soften our harsh judgments, and to turn ourselves towards compassion. So the way I understand you, Jamie, is that, and you use this expression, although sometimes it's not used always in a positive way, but I mean it 100% in a positive way, that you wear your heart on your sleeve, right? So it's easily bruised there, but you are so clear and honest about how much you love your people, about how much you sincerely love each and every one of them, your colleagues, your fellow Jews, Ahavat Yisrael, a big lover of Jews, how much you love your family. It's just so clear and honest and beautiful. And I know that sometimes that can make you a little bit vulnerable, but it also makes you a wonderful, compassionate person who's just full of love. So I want to, if it's okay, you might remember that many, many years ago, we were doing something together. It might have been a conversion, it was probably a conversion, and you were giving someone a blessing. And I said, and I didn't know you very well in those days. And I said, that was so nice. I'd like one. And you gave me a blessing. I don't know if you remember, but it was in the old mikvah. We were standing in the waiting room there, and you gave me this blessing, and I felt so blessed. because you looked at me and you understood what to say, and it was a real blessing. I'd like to see if I might be able to do the same for you tonight, using those words from the last week's or this week's portion. Very simple and very clear, as we were taught by Sheila Peltz Weinberg, but this is my blessing for you. Yivarech Adonai v'yishmerecha, may you feel safe. Yer Adonai panav elecha v'yichoneka. Jamie, may you always feel heard. Yisad Adonai panav elecha v'yasam lecha shalom. And may you know how deeply, how very deeply you are loved. Can you hear its own? Mazel tov.
I want to thank my companions, my colleagues from the bottom of my heart, not only Rabbi Bisno and Rabbi Henry, but all those who have helped to make this service tonight, including Jen Silver and Drew, Molly. You know something? The Van Trapp family singers got nothing on your singers. They were amazing, and I look forward to hearing them again out in the community or at Rosh Shalom. Thank you for your words that really went from your hearts to my heart, and I truly feel touched. I'm going to invite Rabbi Bisno to share any announcements that he has, or Rabbi Henry for Rosh Shalom. And then I'm going to offer some of the announcements we have for Temple Sinai. I also know that there is an oneg. There's announcements. There is an oneg following this service. So one of my Rodav colleagues, please take up the mic.
Okay, I'll get started. I'll get us started. We do want to invite everyone to our place for Oneg Shabbat tonight. That is to say, there's a Zoom room that will open following our service so that when our YouTube service concludes, you can migrate over there, and it'll give us an opportunity to visit and to schmooze and to share greetings and encouragements with one another. We have Torah study tomorrow morning. We also have a service at 10:30. All that information can be found on our social media pages, and look for more information come Monday morning with the email that goes out next. Shabbat Shalom.
Rabbi Henry? No?
No, I don't have any more announcements.
Okay. For Temple Sinai, our family of families, there is Torah study tomorrow at 8:30 in the morning, and the informal minyan is at 9:15. I may be late to the minyan because we're doing a bris, a brit milad, 8 in the morning for Elizabeth and Michael Kalora, who are welcoming Adam Micha into the covenant. There will be our minyan at 9:15, and Cantor Berman will host a Havdalah on Zoom at 8:30 in the evening. I will be doing a Shiva minyan at 7:30 for our dear, dear Dr. Mort Seltman, who lost his beloved Rita this past week and who is buried today. There's Hartman Learning on Sunday at 9:15 with me, and there's Bereshit Seminar with Cantor Berman at 10:30. If you want a pick-me-up on Monday, we've started the last few weeks of my tenure, meditation, music, and living in the moment on Mondays at 9 o'clock for just a half an hour to get centered and focused and grounded as you go off to your work in the world. My weekly shiur is from 7 to 8 in the evening. Parsha is from at noon on Wednesday, and both Cantor Berman and I have office hours on Thursday and Friday. This Friday is our last downtown lunch, which is a Zoom lunch, and our Pride Shabbat is this coming Friday, and we are so delighted that our Pride tribe is stepping up to lead services where Cantor Berman and I get to support them and be with them. I want to recommend to all those who are listening from our Rosh Shalom family and the Temple Sinai family to look at the URJ website and see the resources. You can see these videos. This is just one video we showed tonight. Resources on what you can do to be an anti-racist, to support Black people in the Jewish community and the larger community, and how we can go ahead and move forward as partners, not just in protest, but in building. Please look at the URJ or the Religious Action Center website and find these wonderful, wonderful, wonderful opportunities. And Temple Sinai is invited to the Zoom meeting as well. You can see the Zoom address. You can copy and paste it, and just come as you are, as they say. So that's it for us. And again, a great thanks to Drew Barkley, our executive director, and Jen Silver. And I'm going to rise in my space for Aleinu. Rabbi Cantor Berman.
If you'd like to join us, you may also rise. Again, it's traditional to face towards the east. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים, לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
The good in us will win over all the wickedness, over all the wrongs we have done. We will look back at the pages of written history and be amazed. And we will laugh and sing, and the good that is in us, children in their cradles, will have won. Our hearts beat with the certainty that there is a day and an hour and a mountain called Zion, that all the sufferings will gather there and become song, ringing out into every corner of the earth from end to end, and the nations will hear it, and the caravans in the desert will all to that morning throng.
ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Before Mourner's Kaddish, I'm going to invite our friends, Rabbi Henry and Rabbi Bisno, to share names of those whose yahrzeits are being memorialized this week or have died in recent days. And after that list is read, I'll read the list from Temple Sinai of yahrzeits and recent deaths.
We remember those recently deceased: Gladys Isel Bronstein Burstein, Rabbi Sissy Koran, Mary Del May, Barbara Bobby Rosenfeld, Dory Rudolph, Thomas Silverman, Robert Sommerfeld, Joan Whitehill, and also those whose yahrzeit we're observing this week: Jacques Bloom, Milton Mickey Bildner, Benjamin Davis, Judy Grauer, Jerry Ostro, Helen Posner, Esther Schwartz, Henry Shaw.
At Temple Sinai, we read our yahrzeits first. This week we remember Eva Ossenberg, Frank Bennett, Mala Gitlin Betensky, Jack Browarski, Shirley Farbman and Sidney Fields, David Fisher, Adele Pachursky Fried and Simon Good, Rima Herzbrun, Sarah Holstein and Ellen Weiss Kander, Carolyn Kane, Ida Kosowski, Bernard Lazar, Roseanne Varon Lehman, Louis Ostro, David Perlstein and Leah Pasach Podolsky, Goldie Safier, Sadie Schwartz and Myron Savage, Julie Silverstein, Leonard Stept and Isidore Waldman, Lillian Weisberg and Philip Weiss. And now we remember those whose recent deaths we still mourn: Rita Seltman, Louise Kahn-Lutens, Carol Adelsheimer, and someone we shared, Dory Glosser Rudolph, and of course the names of George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, and Breonna Taylor, as representative of all those who have died needlessly and violently at the hands of others or police. We remember them all. It's our custom to rise for this Kaddish, as the Kaddish is declared, our act of faith in a God that unites us all. Yit Gadal, Yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Yoma Divra Chirute V'Yamlich Malchute B'Chayechon U'V'Yomechon U'V'Chaye Dechol Beit Yisrael Ba'agala U'V'Zman Kariv Yimru.
Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabba Barach Olam Almei Almaya.
Cantor Berman, continue.
Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yit'ala v'yithalal shemei d'kudsha b'rechu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechamata da'amiran ba'alma v'imru. Amen.
Amen.
Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen.
Amen.
Oseh shalom b'mromav. Hu ya'asa shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru. Amen.
Ose shalom bimromav, uyase shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imeru, amen.
Our final song is a hope, Olam Chesed Yibaneh, this world which is desperately broken, in need of our hands of healing. May we build this world from love. Olam Chesed Yibaneh, la-da-dai, dai-dai, da-da-dai, dai. Olam Chesed Yibaneh, la-da-dai, dai-dai, da-da-dai, dai. Olam Chesed Yibaneh, dai-dai, dai-dai, da-da-dai, dai. Olam Chesed Yibaneh, dai-dai, dai-dai, da-da-dai. Sing this at home. I will build this world from love. Da-da-dai, dai-dai, da-da-dai, dai. And you will build this world from love. Da-da-dai, dai-dai, da-da-dai, dai. And if we build this world from love, dai-dai, dai-dai, da-da-dai, dai, then God will build this world from love. Dai-dai, dai-dai, da-da-dai, dai. Last time, Olam Chesed Yibaneh, da-da-dai, dai-dai, da-da-dai, dai. Olam Chesed Yibaneh, da-da-dai, dai-dai, da-da-dai, dai. Olam Chesed Yibaneh, dai-dai, dai-dai, da-da-dai, dai. Olam Chesed Yibaneh, dai-dai, dai-dai, da-da-dai, dai. Bruchim atem b'voachem, bruchim atem b'tzeitchem, me'ata v'ad olam. May you be blessed every place you come into God's world. And as you come into God's world, may you find friends like we have between Temple Sinai and Road of Shalom, leaders who give us moral vision, and people who inspire us with song, and people who inspire us with their acts of their hands and their willingness to stand up and stand out. And thus, when we bring God's blessing to a world that desperately needs it, through all of us, may you be blessed, coming and going, as together we say, Amen. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.